And just like the civilizing mission was the motto of colonialism, the motive of Cold War was Project Modernization. Before that, we rarely talked about modernity and modernization. Now, Project Modernization roughly, not entirely, roughly, started after World War II. And maybe one can say, if one is fond of putting a time limit, it went up to the end of 1989. Now, during this period, for the first time, two contending modernities arose. And this, in turn, is based on a new perception of world culture. I told you about the three others constructed by colonialism. To repeat, the savage other, the black other, and the oriental other. In that place, Cold War produced a trichotomy of the three worlds: the first world, the second world, and the third world. And each of these, as you know very well, are products of different revolutions. The first world was produced by a bourgeois revolution. The second world was produced by a proletarian revolution. And the third world was produced by the colonial revolution. Now, I would suggest that the Cold War was about modernizing the third world and annexing the third world into one of the modernities. The people of the first world thought that there is a gradual evolutionary modernity, the natural modernity. The second world people thought that ours is a modernity which is produced by revolution. I'm talking about the Russian Revolution and the rest. And therefore, ours is an enlightened modernity. So, these two camps were vying between them to annex the third world into one of these modernities. Now, what is interesting for us to note here, that nobody ever disputed that the second world was non-modern. Rather, to put it differently, they always conceded that the second world was technologically modern, but it was politically unmodern, because political modernization meant multi-party system and all that went with it. So, there was problem about the social and political structures. The state, the party state to be more precise, occupied the commanding position. The market was absorbed into it. The civil society was sponsored by it. The differentiation between state, market, and civil society was not on the agenda of the second world. And therefore, theories from the first world always were somewhat ambiguous and ambivalent about the nature of modernity of the second world. But, as I told you, technologically they were very advanced. So one could say that the modernity of the second world was a segmental modernity, as contrasted with the modernity of the first world, which was a total modernity. It was modern politically, it was modern technologically, and it was certainly modern culturally.